Hey, welcome back to another episode of the MindShare PodCast. This show is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals, as well as REM, Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of our MindShare 101 goal-setting worksheet, as well as learn more about our one-to-one coaching and keynote speaking. Today's episode is number 264. Welcome back. Happy New Year. In fact, welcome to Season 6 of the MindShare Podcast. You know, I was saying to somebody the other day, we're entering Season 6. I couldn't believe my own words. And in fact, as I share that with you right now, I still can't believe it. Season 6. I mean, we've been producing this show for the past 5 years on a weekly basis. And no joke, it feels like just yesterday when I got that call from my buddy saying, Dave, you need to start a podcast. I remember where I was sitting. I remember what was going on. I remember the phone call. I remember not knowing where I was going to start. And look, if you're a regular listener, you've heard the story a few times before, because I'm still blown away by the fact that we're like Season 6. This is crazy. Now, to think of all the amazing guests that we've had on, all the topics we've discussed, wow. There has been so much value that's been delivered along the way. We've had executives from all of the biggest brands in the real estate industry. We've had executives from some of the supporting businesses and services within the industry. We've had health and wellness experts, mindset experts, technology experts. I mean, we've had top producers, people that are making shit tons of money and people that are just finding their ways. We've had some of our coaching clients on the show. We've had some really unique guests that have built their own businesses and brands online, trying to learn how they did it. I mean, when I think about the range of people that we've had on the show, we really have been fortunate. And I got to tell you what's really, really cool is, when we first started the show, trying to find our way and trying to figure out what we're doing. And let me just say this right now, by the way, it is Season 6. And I know you're like, Dave, you said that like 17 times. No, but I brought it up for a second here because what's important to know about that is along the way we continue to, we're still trying to find our groove. I guess that's what I'm trying to say to you. 52 episodes a year for 5 years in a row. We're going into year 6 and we're still trying to figure it out. Yes, you heard that right. We are still trying to figure it out. So this whole thing of, searching for perfection. Hey, come on. There's no such thing as perfection. You can Google that shit. In fact, I encourage you to do that. Let that help you in your journey to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Type it in. What is the definition of perfection? And you'll find a bunch of different results, but I'll tell you right now, it's going to tell you it's the process towards becoming better. It's the process towards trying to achieve. It's the process of trying to be free of fault. But I mean, is that not in the eye of the beholder? I mean, depending on who's looking, who's measuring, who's judging, depends on whether you've got fault or you don't. So again, stop searching for perfect. It doesn't exist. Just start doing. And in fact, that's what we're doing. 5 years deep. I mean, going into year 6, go figure. But seriously, going into year 6, we're still trying to figure it out. And you might be thinking, but David, the show's been running all this time. What do you mean you haven't figured it out? It sure sounds like you figured it out. I mean, I tune in on a regular, and I am grateful for you. But again, nothing's perfect. We keep trying. So, I mean, with the guests, with the solo episodes, I got to tell you, I love these solo episodes. But I love the guests, too. We've had some fantastic people. And the conversations are incredibly enlightening. And something that I continue to repeat back to you on a regular basis is how important it is to feed your brain. And where I'm very fortunate, and again, fortunate's not the word. I think it's like where I'm I'm very disciplined. Let's put it that way. Okay. I'm disciplined in doing my show. So here we are on a weekly show. I'm disciplined and I persevere through working towards, inviting guests. And what's, again, very cool is that back when we first started the show, people didn't know the show. Now, as we, might invite somebody on the show, and we get a lot of requests to be a guest on the show, which is very cool. And then when we go to invite people, it's like, hey, have you heard the MindShare podcast? It's like, yeah, of course. And a lot of people are like, yeah, I listened to it. So that's very cool. And people are excited to be a guest on the show, which means, again, there's been a level of notoriety. But where does it come from? It comes through, again, the discipline and the perseverance to just keep doing it. And then keep trying to figure out what we could do to be better. And then when it doesn't feel like it's working, not giving up. So it's a cool accomplishment. But as I sit here and I'm disciplined enough to feed my brain, and I have these guests on the show and I learn from them, and I read my books on a regular basis, and I study, people that have reached levels of success or built businesses or have incredible stories to try to figure out what it is. Truth be told, I've just told you. It's discipline and perseverance. Because when the going gets tough, most people give up. It's all good. Let them. Just don't be them. See, this show has been recognized as one of the top real estate and marketing sales podcasts across North America. We're ranked in the top 2% globally. Like, I'm still blown away. I'm saying it to you, not to gloat. I'm saying it to you like I'm still trying to believe my own words. And look, what's really important to note right now, that does not happen without you. So I thank you so much for continuing to tune in, for continuing to be here, for continuing to come back after you heard the first episode. You actually came back for another one. Well, hey, all right. That's that's fuel to my fire right there. But all jokes aside, with a big smile on my face and a ton of gratitude, I am incredibly, incredibly grateful. And like anything in life, in order to have success, we need 4 things. We need a plan. We need to be committed to that plan. We need discipline. And no matter what, consistency. And how many times I've told you that consistency is the magic ingredient to achieving anything you want in life. So again, a plan. Being committed to that plan, having the discipline to follow through with it, and doing it consistently no matter what. That's the only way we've been able to last this long. Like, again, literally, we're talking about a weekly broadcast for the past 5 years in a row. Like, this is not an easy task. And no joke, I say that very seriously to you. And as I'm saying it to you, and I'm using the podcast as that thing we're talking about right now, what I also want you to do as you listen to this is I want you to envision what it is that you've been working at. It could be anything, okay? It could be improving your presentation to a potential client. It could be a new video strategy you've been trying to implement. It could be a new workout routine that you're trying to do. It could be anything. What time you go to bed? I don't know. Change isn't easy. So when I say it again, like that's the same process we've taken 5 years in a row. It is not easy. The amount of time the show takes to produce each week, it's probably about 5 hours a week to produce this show. And let's be serious, eh? Like, nobody's coming to me at the end of the show and going, okay, Dave, here's your paycheck for the week. Or, at the end of 4 shows or 5 shows, whatever, and say, hey, Dave, here's your paycheck at the end of the month. Like, realistically speaking, and like you could argue, of course, there's some like monetization on the back end where it's helping us build the mind share. But the reality is it's a free show. You can listen to it for free. Nobody's paying me to produce it. All the costs and the expenses are on me to put, as the business owner to put it together. But 5 hours a week dedicated to that. And if you're thinking like what here specifically, and I mentioned some of this stuff a moment ago, but like coordinating guests, creating the show notes, knowing what do I want to talk about, deciding on the topics. So, show notes kind of give us a flow for the actual show, but like topics tell us like, what is the show going to be about? Which guests should we bring on? What have we talked a lot about already and we need to talk more about something else? It takes time. It takes brain power. It takes mental capacity. Hell, it takes effort. Then once you have all that ready, you actually got to record. Got to carve out time for that. Then you got to edit. Got to carve out time for that process. And then, of course, there's a promotion. Getting the word out there that we actually have a show. From who's coming on the show, when we're recording the show, promoting even our sponsors, and then, of course, the post-promotion around, letting people know, hey, it's live. It's available on all the podcast platforms, sending out the emails about it, posting it on social media. Like, guys, listen, this is no Mickey Mouse production over here. And what you have to remember is that I had no idea where to start when I originally started. Zero. Nothing. I mean, again, for those of you iPhone lovers, I got to tell you, I still got no idea why you use a Mac. I don't understand the iOS platform. I am an Android. I love my Android. Period. Exclamation mark, bolded, underlined, caps locks, Android. But I say that because realistically, when somebody started talking about podcasts, back at least in my world 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, I thought to myself, that's like an iPhone thing. Like you need to be on iTunes. And the reality is the majority of podcast listeners and everything else, it runs through the iTunes platform. A lot of platforms out there, a lot of great platforms out there. But again, I had no idea where to start. And because I wasn't an iPhone person, it was like trying to figure all that out. I thought, oh man, this ain't up my alley. But once it was suggested to me, I began to see the value. Now, it could be because I've been told many times that I've got a face for radio. No, I mean, some people have said that, in lighthearted pokes and jokes and just having some fun. But I enjoy the mic. I enjoy the radio. I've done some radio. I have done some radio, but I enjoy this process. I do. This is something that I find passion in. I believe that it's a powerful way to be able to communicate with you, to be able to help you. I would imagine right now that you're not sitting around with a whole bunch of people, popcorn in hand, and tuned into my show. I'm going to take a stab at this and say that you're driving. Maybe you're working out, you're taking a walk, you're jogging. Maybe you're just sitting, on your couch staring out at a beautiful scenery while you listen to the sound of my voice. I don't know. But when I started to see the value in being able to share a message and be able to educate and be able to teach and be able to get into your brain, to help you process those thoughts, to help you become a better version of you. Hey, I found a way to make it happen. Period. Like again, you're listening to this show right now, which was recorded in a studio, which went through a number of different processes to get into your ear. Think about the technology. Think about the power. Think about the infrastructure around all that. And I still come back to that same thing of like, you and I could get on a phone call together right now. And if you're thinking like, yeah, big deal, Dave. No, seriously. There's no wires. There's no nothing. We're not next door to each other. How in the world is my voice traveling across thin air to your voice and making it seem like we're right next to each other? So seriously, I still wonder about this stuff. And if you're thinking like, Dave, it's tech, like, Google that shit. But seriously. Anyways, listen, off onto left field over there. The bottom line is I saw a way to make it happen. And where I'm going with this is that along the way, there have been a lot of ups and downs. There have been times that I can't find the right guests. There's been times that I don't even know what to talk about. There's been times where I just wasn't feeling it. But I knew this one thing. Follow this one. If I drop the ball right now, what happens tomorrow? What happens to all the good energy that I've already built up? And that's the one thing that continues to ride in my mind with everything I do, especially doing things that I don't want to do, because it gets to a point where you're like, well, why am I doing it if I don't want to do it? And then you persevere through it, you do it, even if it was hard work, you get to the other side, and now you have that same feeling the next day. And it's like, well, one of the things I ask myself, I'm like, well, if I'm going to give up now, then why did I put myself through all the bullshit yesterday and the day before and the week before? I should have just given up then. And then you start having that, that conversation with the two voices on on either side of your shoulders there, kind of going, hey, give up. And the other one's like, no, don't give up. And you're like, you can do this. And the big voice is always like, well, if I give up now, it was a waste of time and effort, and I shouldn't have put myself through all the bullshit before. And that seriously is one of my riding factors. One of the riding voices, one of the mindsets. I've already gone through so much hard. Why am I going to give up now? See, most people do exactly that. At some point, they lose the excitement. They lose the motivation. They get bored. It gets hard. So they stop. They give up. They pivot to something else. See, we know this, though. Here it goes again, right? Consistency is the magic ingredient to achieving anything we want in life. And one of the things that always, drives me personally is that I know that most people are lazy. I know that most people will give up. I know that most people will make excuses. Most people most people stop before they reach success because it just didn't happen fast enough. Because they couldn't handle all the challenges and the obstacles thrown at them along the way. But you see, I'm not most people. And I work hard to drive this message home so that it resonates with you, so that you are also not most people. See, that's like one of my big missions. I want to help you recognize what all the bullshit excuses and bitching and whining and all the objections that weak people throw out there. And yeah, I say weak. And you could sit there, oh, Dave, that's harsh, but people got things going on in their life. No, I'm with you. But understand that true strength comes from being able to understand what you got going on in life and to be able to balance it around what it is that you want in life. And understand that most people will give you an excuse to why they can't. Why they can't. See, but what I want you to do is I want you to tell me, forget tell me. It's not about tell me. I want you to tell yourself why you can. I want you to remind yourself that, again, most people will not do this properly. There's a very small percentage of people who are not most people. And the reality is, anybody could be part of this group. But we know that most people just won't put in the effort. They haven't got what it takes. They're okay looking in the mirror and going, you're a little soft, you're a little weak. Call it what you want. I use that simple thought to keep me driven. So when you ask the energy, and Dave, where does it come from? It comes from that. It comes from the simple realization that most people just won't. So all I got to do is do it? Yeah. Do I have to do it right? No. Does it have to be perfect? What's perfect? So you mean just do it? Doesn't matter if it's backwards, upside down, or whatever. Yeah. That's it? Yeah. See, because as you do it, you start to get better at it. You start to find better ways of going about it. And you still realize that most people just won't do it because they're scared of wrong. They're scared of bad. They're scared of the unknown. They're scared of whatever. What people will think. Oh, that's the biggest one right there. That's where the fear comes from. Of doing video, putting themselves on social, making a comment. Oh my God, what are people going to say? Who cares? Seriously, who cares? Well, Dave, I care. I think it's important, and it could ruin my brand. Well, don't be an idiot. Be careful with what you say. Religion and politics has no place when you're trying to build a brand. Stay the hell out of that one. And I mean, I touch on politics a little bit. A little bit. Can't stand that clown. Can't stand him. He's got to go. Back to the regular show. But like, again, be careful what you're saying, right? Be careful what you're doing. Be careful of how you're speaking to people. But again, understand that just most people are just scared, so they just won't even take that step. Scared of what other people think, or even scared to make a mistake. Again, that's the simple thought that I use to keep me driven and motivated to achieve what I want. That's the thought that I use to go get what I want. Oftentimes, people won't ask the question. I'll ask the question. Yeah, but Dave, what if they say no? And? Big deal. So they said no. But hey, question for you. What happens if they say yes? And oftentimes that's what happens is they say yes. And then people say, Dave, how'd you do it? Yo, I asked. That's it. Well, I mean, it took some nerve. It took the right way of asking. It took trying to find the right person to ask. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, that was it. So again, I don't want to be most people. And I'm trying to help you do the same for you. Okay? 2024 is now officially upon us. We have an entire year ahead of us to make changes, to make the adjustments. Everything we really want, it's right here. And listen, I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't care how you feel this morning, this afternoon, this evening when you read this. And I mean, listen, if you're not feeling well and something went wrong, I care, I do. But what I mean is if you're not feeling it, or you're a little bit tired, or maybe the holidays got you by the tail a little bit and you need a couple more days to recoup. Hey, happy holidays. What I'm saying is I don't care how you feel in terms of the fact that you think you can't do it, or you feel the same today as you did, the other day when you woke up. So today's January 1st. You feel the same you did when you woke up on December 31st. Nothing really feels different. Yeah, I said wished each other Happy New Year last night, but that's about it. Okay, listen, but this is it. It is a brand new measuring stick. We get to use the next 365 days, this window in time, to measure ourselves. To measure everything we're doing, how we're doing, what we want. Are we getting closer? And look, if you tune into the show regularly, you're the best. And if you don't, but it's your first time, hey, you're good too. We want to see you back again next time, all right? In fact, if it is your first time, go over to leave us a review. Give us a big 5 stars. In fact, even send me a DM on Insta or send me an email or something. Let me know you listen to the show. In fact, here, you know what? For everybody, if you got suggestions for show topics or guest titles or guests, let me know that too. But where I was going with this is, coffee time, right? If you tune into the show regularly, you're going to know that just as recent as our last episode of season 5, like the show just before this one, the one last week. In fact, I want you to pay attention to that one right now. Final week of the year, first week of the year, all sorts of holidays and fun and, shenanigans in between. We still got a show going. There's still a show here for you to tune into. Remember what I said. Vision, hard work, discipline, perseverance. The commitment to knowing that most people just wouldn't. Most people took a break. Yeah, we took a break too. Just in our own ways. So, look, what I was saying there was, on that show just before this one, I told you that your mission was to start now. And that was in an effort to get you going ahead of the pack. You see, again, most people are still getting over their holiday hangovers. Most people don't have a plan for what they want to achieve. Most people are not even going to be able to compete with you because, well, that's just how most people are. Now, in saying all this, I challenge you to download our MindShare 101 goal-setting worksheet from my website. Okay, you go to mindshare101.com. It's if you're on mobile, just scroll down just a little bit. If you're on desktop, it's going to be right there for you. But download the MindShare 101 goal-setting sheet. Okay, if you haven't done this little, this exercise yet for yourself for this year, straight up, you're late. You are late. I'm not sugarcoating this shit. I'm not giving you a ribbon, but I'll give you some support. I'll give you someone to work with. I'll be here to help you. We still got time, I will tell you that. And again, for my coaching clients who are not most people, these are people that are already winning. They're already at full speed at this point right now. We got started weeks ago. Okay, and that's just how we roll. Again, we're not most people. And the fact of the matter is, I don't know what date it is that you listen to this show, but I will tell you that you should have had your plan in place before Jan 1. The fact that it's after January 1, hey, this goal-setting worksheet is going to help you try to catch up. You won't catch up because we've had people moving like at full speed, weeks ago. But hey, you start now, you will still be ahead of, say it with me, most people. Now, as we talk about most people, for you not to be most people, you have to possess these 4 traits. Vision. You must have a plan. For example, what do you want to achieve this year? I'll even say this in another one, i.e., goals. You must be disciplined. You've got to be willing to put in the work every single day, no matter what. No excuses. No ifs, ands, or buts. Oh, but this happened. Oh, I wasn't feeling it. Oh, let me give you every excuse in the world. Remember what I said? That's soft. That's what most people do. They're weak. Every time I say that, I'm like, do I sound harsh? Maybe I do. But hey, hey, stay here with me. If you have that vision and you do recognize that you're disciplined, you're not weak. You're doing it. Okay, so vision, discipline, hard work. See, with the heart, you've got to recognize that there's going to be hard days ahead. You've got to recognize there's going to be ups and downs. It's not always going to go to plan. In fact, sometimes it's going to feel like it's totally not working. In fact, you're going to feel like just upright quitting. Nothing we want in life is easy. Nothing. Everything we want is always going to take effort. Like the things that matter most is going to take effort. So understand, you're going to get up not wanting to do it. You're going to feel like you don't want to do it. You're going to have this mindset of not wanting to do it. Again, most people just give up at that point. You, me, we're going to put the hard work in. And the fourth one here is perseverance. See, you've got to be willing to do that hard work, not just today, but again tomorrow. And then the next day. And then when it gets so hard, you've got to continue trying to do it for the next 365 days, no matter what happens. Now I realize that sounds really daunting, okay? Sounds really daunting. Here, make sure you wrote those down. 4 traits that you need to possess to win. Vision, discipline, hard work, and perseverance. Let those really sink in. Find a place in your mind and let those sit there. Write them down on a piece of paper and put them up on your wall. Put them at your desk, put them in your bedroom, put them in your bathroom. Put them somewhere you could see them. That's the simplicity of this entire process. Now, as I said, I realize it can sound daunting. So let's simplify it. We know that by mid-January, over 50% of people will have already given up. We know that by mid-February, over 80% of people will have given up. I don't know about you, but I'd say that sounds a lot like most people. So how do we ensure we are not them? Well, again, do not look ahead to the next 365 days. Whoa, Dave, didn't you just say we've got a measuring stick in the next 365 days? I did. But 365 days from today sure seems like a very long time. In fact, that is a year away. Like how I did that math so quickly. Okay. But what we're not trying to do, we're not trying to look ahead to the next 365 days, because that very much, that's a long time. Instead, look ahead to today. Today. Then at your end of your day, look ahead to tomorrow. Have a plan. No matter how monotonous it may feel, no matter how quickly the results may or may not be coming to you, no matter how you feel from one day to the next. See, the big secret that everyone is always searching for, it isn't really some big secret. It simply comes down to your discipline. That commitment to achieve what you truly want. That desire to actually be the person you want to be, instead of just lamenting about it when you look in the mirror. See, today, it's going to feel like any other day. The reality is that you are still the same person. You still have the same family. You still live in the same place. You're still doing the same job. So the question becomes, well, how do we make it different? It's all about the plan. It's all about what you're going to do differently today than you've done in the past, that you're going to actually achieve what you want. Now again, if you are a regular listener, you've heard me say this countless times. If you're a new listener, I'm going to repeat it for you. Well, yeah, I guess repeat it for you. I mean, if you're a new listener. Okay. Set your goals. Break them down to daily actions. Map them into your schedule. Then simply drive the car. Follow the map and you will get to your destination. And remember, there's going to be roadblocks along the way. There's going to be construction on that road. You will need to change direction sometimes. This is a long journey. So buckle up and get ready, because there is a ton of opportunity ahead for you this year. Of course, if you need help with it, if you're thinking, man, you make it sound so easy, then connect with me. Let's talk about one-to-one coaching. It's an investment into yourself that will pay you more than you've ever been paid before. 2024 is going to serve up a lot of ups and downs. By having a plan, by being dedicated to not being most people, by taking it one day at a time, I have no doubt you will succeed. You're either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, MindShare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of the MindShare 101 Goal Setting Worksheet to help you conquer 2024 and become the version of you that you really want to be. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and or ongoing virtual training, just get in touch with us. We'll set up a consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve, and how we will help you do just that. For all inquiries, just get in touch with us today. Of course, don't forget to leave a review of this podcast at www.ratethispodcast.com/MindShare101. You can also go directly to iTunes, directly to Spotify. Anything you do, we're super grateful. And if we haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at MindShare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. I want to thank Kids Keep in Touch Systems and REM Magazine for sponsoring the MindShare podcast. Be sure to visit our site to learn more about what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the MindShare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.